happen if y'all touch hands right now? I'm curious.
They'd be sweaty. No, let's not do that.
Let's not touch hands.
You gonna leave me hanging? You gonna leave me hanging foot?
Are you afraid? Oh my goodness! Can we blush harder, please? Oh my stizzard.
I'm light skinned. It just happens when I laugh hard.
Sure.
Rock bottle on the track, boy.
What up? What up? Welcome to the Keep It Going podcast. Now let's chop it up.
Hello, everybody. This is Dr. Goines with Keep It Goines. Today's episode is part 2 of Healthy Divorce. Here's a little disclaimer. I want to let you know that we're by no way, shape, form promoting divorce. But what we are saying is that if you ever come to that point in life where you've tried everything you can to salvage your marriage, if divorce is your next step, we want you to know that it does not have to be toxic. There is a such thing as healthy divorce, especially when you have children involved. So enjoy the show. We pray that this is an example of how you can divorce without making an arch rival out of the person that you were formerly with, okay? So enjoy the show. Leave your comments. Share with a friend. God bless you. Love y'all. Keep it going. Yeah. From this side of it, that even though I've been doing this for 18 years for us pastoring and counseling couples, it still hits a little different, right. You know, when it's like there's kind of like going to a funeral, right? You can empathize with the family, you talk to the family, but unless that's your loved one laying in the casket, it still hits different. So for me, it feels like a daily waking up to a funeral. Like for the last umpteen weeks, I wake up with a funeral to go to. So how would you guys describe some of the emotions that came about during this divorce process?
For me, it was like for me, I had to describe it to somebody as like getting kicked in the stomach by a horse every day, but you still have to function.
Kicked in the stomach by a horse?
Every day you wake up.
What does that feel like? Has that happened before?
Nah,
okay.
It's just a pain that nobody can see. But you still have to function. You still got to go to work.
Absolutely,
you still got to be a dad.
Right.
You still got to serve. You still got to lead, whatever. And you still have to function through it.
Kicked in the stomach by a horse every day.
Every day.
Tori, has he ever shared that with you?
Not using that particular metaphor or analogy.
Does that hit different hearing him say that?
I'm not surprised because I also kind of dealt with something similar.
How about you?
I would say for me, it definitely was, everything just felt a little heavier because I knew that, yes, this was a decision that we were making in the hopes that things would be better. It still was a realization that I was going to be carrying more. And so I would wake up and just
carrying more. What
carrying more. So
carrying more.
Carrying more.
Okay.
So knowing that, you know, I am making the decision to willingly be a single parent, to for the first time take care of a household on my own for a long term, for a long term, because we did have a stint where I was single, but I mean it was maybe a year. So this is, you know, making the decision to split and be on my own. It was just heavy. So where he says, you know, getting kicked in the stomach, it would be like physically getting out of bed would be harder. You know, wanting to care for myself, it was harder. And then still, like he said, still having to be a mom and still having to go to work.
So yours is more or less counting the cost of now tangibly. Here's what this means that I now have to carry and shoulder alone. So it's like the fear even of what that feels like to be on. Now, but in y'all's situation, I mean, you made the decision ultimately to get divorced, right? It was kind of your main decision?
Yeah, we can say that. I think that there was a conversation where, you know, he decided that it was something that we should do. And then I agreed. And then, you know, as we started towards the end, I would say, towards the end of the funeral, if we will, towards the end of things, you know, then it was the decision, okay, made by him that, well, maybe we should, you know, try. And at that point, I think I I was mentally done.
Now, his eyebrows went up when I said when you said it was him initially. So whose idea was the separation, the divorce?
Tori, I just paid for it.
He said Tori, I just paid for it. I mean, so you disagree? You say it wasn't your decision?
I mean, ultimately, yes, it was my decision because the conversations that we had in the beginning of, of making the decision to get divorced.
Sure.
It was, we both said, yes, this is something that should happen. And then after doing the counseling and things like that, that's when it was, now, are you sure that this is something that you want to do?
And here's the deal. I'm not of the school to say, I think that sometimes a decision has to be made. So it's not a bad thing.
No, and I'm not
just
saying that it is.
Right, okay.
That's just how I recall it. But yeah, no, you're correct.
Because the lion's share, I think, was as how things were kind of going, the conversation, the situation. Then I think even our last episode, some of the things that you never got a chance to do as an adult. I mean, you went from 18 to married.
Yep.
So it's a lot of those things that I think for you're saying that you as a person, you feel like there's a lot of things that you wanted to do, have never experienced, and so it was like a big. And since divorce, he's even said, "Yo, I have a lot of respect for things that you were able to do as a single woman that I didn't see as a married woman." Right? And so in making that ultimate decision, I now want to just kind of move. So now the decision is made, because we can really spend a whole segment talking about the process, because I was right there with you guys in the process and when the decisions were kind of made and how we was kind of talking through that. But I want to deal with this. What was the most unhealthy thing that you can recall that was the most unhealthy part of how you dealt with divorce? What would you say? Here's how I was dealing with the divorce, the kick in the stomach, the weight and the heaviness of it all. Here is how I start to deal with it, and it wasn't healthy.
For me, it was definitely feeling like I needed to recluse.
To recluse?
To recluse.
Okay.
I thought that I was doing myself and others a service by removing myself, because I felt like I was going to be a distraction. Because when you're not yourself, or you don't feel like you are yourself, and you're constantly hearing, "Are you okay?" Or you're worrying about, "Oh, does so and so know?" And so I made the decision to recluse and to just be with myself and be with my feelings and sit. And some people may say, "Oh, well, that's healthy." But hindsight, looking back, I wish I would have at least tried a little bit to stay in my to stay in my community.
I think people's first reaction is this, to kind of withdraw, and you don't know what people are saying and all this good stuff. And I think for me, I remember the other Sunday, I wasn't going to come to church. And I'm like, "But why?"
Right.
That's the very thing that I see a lot of times when life happens. And First Peter says, don't think it's strange when trials come, as others do. And I said, why would I not come to the place that gives me most peace, where I'm surrounded by most community? It's like, and so that's where I came. I was glad I came. And I discovered that a lot of people, they were encouraged by me coming. Right. Because some people are wondering how you're doing, because they don't see you. They think you at home drinking some tequila out the bottle. I mean, you were doing that, but I'm saying, but people. So I really love that you really wish you wouldn't have withdrawn from people. I love that
as much
as much.
Right, and I can speak to that. That I did the exact opposite. I leaned into the community, and that was the best thing I could have did.
So you got them streets.
I got the no. I leaned into. I leaned into the community, but the most unhealthy thing for me, number one, is the retail therapy. I spent a lot of money.
You on a shopping spree?
A lot.
Wow.
Unhealthy. I leaned into that, and then I heard some people in the process. Talking to people, entertaining people in the process too. So
Like dating, you mean like
yeah,
love interest
so-
or feelings interest?
Right, yeah. So that
Excuse me.
wasn't
Lord,
right.
she almost
That was
tore my
unhealthy.
microphone up. She said, oh, damn, excuse me.
Oh, you leaned. Yes, you did. You did lean into the community.
She said you did lean into the community. Wait a minute. Okay, wait a minute. So now listen, there was actually, okay, let her drink some water.
Yeah.
Because I was actually, that was one of my,
Thank you.
that was one of my
Appreciate it.
questions I was going to ask about the whole kind of dating thing, kind of how, so let's I'll do it
thank you.
myself. Thank you very much. So you're saying that one unhealthy thing is that you were already going through a kick in the stomach, right? And so you probably open yourself up too soon.
Way too soon. Oh yeah.
And consequently, you open them up for something that you want really, that it was like therapy for you.
Right.
And for them, it was like, he's my dreamboat, right?
Yeah.
Wow. So you recommend anyone who's newly separated, newly divorced, whatever, like, give yourself some time and don't hurt people.
Yeah, definitely don't hurt people. Some people may be ready a couple of months. I don't know.
Right.
But for me, it was she looked at the responsibility that she's gonna have to take on.
Mm-hmm.
I now looked at the responsibilities I no longer had.
Wow.
So you talking about me paying bills, and at the end of the month, I'm like, I pay everything I got.
You got money left.
So now you feel, man, I'm in LA. I went to Aruba. I got Dice closed down. I ain't at K&G no more.
Whoa. You were never at K&G.
was never at
That'd be
K&G.
like, I know
What a
he's been
lie.
bougie for a bit. So K&G. Boy,
Talk
you'll get off this
about
couch. So even with the traveling, some might say that that's a good thing. They go out there that you
Yeah.
do living. I see so many
Yeah.
posts on social media when people are in relationships,
Right.
and they're saying, now it's my turn. I get to put me first,
Oh, God.
and this is about me now. And
Yeah.
and so you're saying that that's not really healthy.
For me, I spent too much.
Okay.
Yeah, it crossed the point.
Because I remember I asked you about buying. What was that? I asked you about buying one day. I told you it was nice. It was a jacket or something. It was a Gucci jacket or something. And I asked you what you wanted and how much it cost.
Oh
I get you
yeah,
a deal
that's
on
how I actually am. I was like, nah, I better not. That's how I normally am.
Dude, I couldn't believe it. I'm like,
Yeah.
dude, that's a great deal on this jacket. He said,
Yeah.
nah, I'm good. I'm like,
That's how
That
I actually
sounds
am.
about
Like
right.
when I was married, I had like 4 suits, the basic colors.
But you also didn't really care.
I did
As-
because I was
as
married.
much.
I had a wife. I had to make sure y'all was straight.
Which is not fair.
Yeah.
But
which part isn't fair?
that he didn't care about the way he looked when he was with
Whoa!
me.
I
But
cared about how I looked.
So you saying he looks better divorced than he did when he was
yeah,
married?
he looked better divorced.
Everybody
okay,
look better
so
with
do
more
I.
money.
Wait a
Okay,
minute.
me too.
He from Asher to class.
Man.
So now he
That's
wants to start
cap.
taking
Nah,
showers,
real
putting on lotion.
I mean, he has all types of different shea butters and stuff now. It's ridiculous.
That is crazy.
Nah, don't do that. Like I ain't look good when I was married. We ain't finna
You
do
did.
that.
You didn't look. No,
ain't
you
finna do
did.
that.
You looked well.
You
Thank
look
you.
well, but now you look good.
Great.
Whoa.
Looking great.
So here's the question with this look great. During the divorce process, for couples watching this, would you say it's unhealthy to have sex after the divorce? Healthy or unhealthy?
I'm a man. It's different. I'm a man.
I'm
It's
a
different.
Man. That's different.
I'm a
You're-
man.
You
It's
have
different.
feelings.
Yeah, I mean, it's still feelings. I be personally transparent. It's like
It doesn't matter.
I ain't gonna say it's unhealthy.
You not, wait a minute.
Okay.
Wait a minute. Give me an answer, sir. So you're saying for you, you're saying if you divorce, if she with it and you with it, both y'all horny, have sex,
I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't say it.
but you do it.
I would, but
I would
hold
say
on. Let me explain. Hold on. People can say they with it, they don't really be with it though.
They say what now?
People can say they be with it, but they don't really be with it. It's always gonna be some kind of underlying feelings there. So overall, outside looking in, I'd be like, don't do that.
Right.
Yeah.
But inside,
Inside, it's like
okay, Tori, talk
Okay,
to me
thank you.
because Randy's giving answers without giving answers. He giving two answers.
I would
overall, wisdom says no. I'll just say that.
Wisdom says
Wisdom
no.
says
the
no.
flesh
No.
says yes. My mind's telling me no.
Oh, R. Is it? Can we still quote R. Kelly's
No, we
music?
can't. I don't
Okay.
even really know why I did that.
Wow.
Because when he comes on the radio, I immediately turn it off.
Wow, it's like a spirit on it.
It is. It's bad.
Okay.
So I would say that it is unhealthy unless you know that you have, you've come to a point where you can look at yourself and emotions won't be tied up.
Okay.
Because if you are still somewhat damaged behind the situation, or you still have mixed emotions, you still have anger, if you still,
Right.
if there are still negative emotions tied into that relationship, you should not have sex.
So how would you have sex if there's negative emotions tied to it anyway?
Because people have angry sex all the time.
So y'all had angry sex since I've been divorced?
Nah.
I'm sorry?
I'm sorry. Is this thing on? Is this thing on?
What?
So,
Is that a real question?
so did y'all have like angry sex? Did you have like sex when you were still like some?
No.
So y'all had happy sex. It was just so you guys saying you were able to do it because both of y'all, you weren't mad and you
You
say,
like how
yo,
he's doing this?
you horny, I'm horny, we're adults, I got time, you got time.
He's trying to ask without asking.
I think I'm asking. I'm saying so. So tell me. So in y'all situation, how was it afterwards when you guys would have sex and divorce? How would that be afterwards? What was the conversation like? Like thanks, or like, damn girl, this is, or boy you
It depends.
okay? Because he's now looking good, doing more push-ups and. So what? Tell me the after. What's the conversation? Is there any things of regret afterwards? Honestly, when we think about it, was there any, like, we shouldn't have did that, or what are we doing?
It depends. Sometimes I would have an up and down mix.
Now we're not
of
talking about what y'all
emotions.
did.
I know it will be an up.
You said
and
up and down. I'm not. We're not.
Oh my
Let's not get
gosh,
graphic.
it would be an up
This is a
and
family
down
show, Tori. God,
mix of
for God's
emotions.
sakes.
It would be a mix of emotion about how I felt about what I did, because in the moment, yes, like physically needs are met, but emotionally and mentally, I'm taking 2 steps backwards.
Wow. And so, attachment, regret. Tell me about the 2 steps backwards. Where are you when you're 2 steps backwards? What?
When you've tried to heal from certain things,
Sure.
you know,
Oh, this is so
we can
good.
we can laugh and we can joke and be friends all day, but sometimes there's something about physically connecting with that person again that can set you back.
Wow.
Especially if you've kind of gone through the ups and downs, like I
There she go again.
kind of said.
Wow. Whoa.
It's just
Can we focus, please?
a roller coaster. Is
Oh,
that better?
wow.
Is that
Randy.
not better?
Yeah, Randy, tell us about the roller coaster. This is weird.
I don't like it.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I don't like it
So
here.
help us out because Tori's been way too graphic. So
Not by choice.
So for you, you're saying for you, you was great afterwards. It was
Yeah, feelings come back, right? But it's like you always remember that y'all are divorced, and y'all are divorced for a reason.
Okay.
So
it's like no strings attached,
right.
but there are strings attached
Right.
to a certain degree.
To a certain degree,
Yeah.
there are. You can't, for me, and, you know, people always kind of make the joke that, you know, women or females, their hearts live in their vaginas. That's not always the case for some.
I've never heard that.
You've never
before.
heard that
I've
before?
never heard. Okay, ladies, keep it going. So this is great. I just learned something about the female anatomy. I thought all these years that the heart was in your chest.
Chest cavity.
Tori told us that the heart is in the vagina. So thank you so much for sharing that.
Not
But go on,
in
man. Enlighten us more.
Real life, but
Yeah.
you know what I mean. Like
I got what you're
your
Emotions are
your
tied to-
emotions are very much tied to having sex. Now there are definitely some thugs out here. I know a lot of what we talked about the last show that I sat in on about dating. You know, it's this younger generation, or it's more so
It's
saw
different.
in the younger generation
Yeah.
of women, where, you know, they're kind of more so acting like what we would say men
Right,
do.
the
You know,
stereotype, right.
so yeah, so it is a little different for me to try to be physical again.
So you have to make up your mind. Is this worth me taking 2 steps back?
Mm-hmm.
Like just understanding going in, I'm gonna do this, but it may cost me having to go back to the funeral again. And that's why I think that's what you're saying, Randy.
Yeah, wisdom tells you no.
Right.
Yeah, wisdom tells you don't do that.
So big question then. After having been married and after even post-divorce having some roller coaster rides, the seesaw, up and down, if you will.
Never said seesaw.
Seesaw, okay.
Never said seesaw.
Just a roller coaster move. We'll talk about that on another segment. Is there a part of you guys that even if he's with somebody else or if she's with somebody else, is there a certain part of you that always feels that, a certain part of that still belongs to me?
Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure.
Ain't that, thank y'all for admitting that.
Yeah.
Why do divorced people, and I'm not going to say everybody blanket, but most people, if you've been with someone for a period of time, there's a certain part of you that, can y'all tell me about that? Can you say more about that?
Yeah, so there's always going to be that. There's always going to be that. You cannot be concerned about them being and dating somebody else. You're
not jealous like
yeah,
that. But
yeah,
it's
you
like,
cannot be
That
concerned,
would
but
not
it's
be
just
healthy.
like, it's always that little, you know what I mean? It's always that little.
I hope y'all get a close-up.
That's all that's going to forever be there.
Wow.
That's why I think that's why a lot of people would rather bury somebody who's been married before, because it's always going to be that little or inside joke. It's always going to be a vibe, especially if you grew up with somebody.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Tori, how about you?
I have to agree, wholeheartedly. I think also a tie for me is that I have his babies. And so that is a relationship and a connection that can never be taken away by anybody.
Right.
There's always going to be a certain level of love that I will have for him that nobody can take away. It is
What
it
happens
is.
if y'all touch hands right now? I'm curious.
They'd be sweaty. No, let's not do that.
Let's not touch hands.
You gonna leave me hanging? You gonna leave me hanging up?
Are you afraid? Oh my goodness! Can we blush harder, please? Oh my stizzard!
I'm light skinned. It just happens when I laugh hard. It happens when I laugh hard.
So, but I think so. So with that, guys, tell me what type of boundaries, would you need to put in place then when it comes to dating and stuff like that to make this is hypothetically if you were to get in a relationship or remarry even or vice versa, what type things would you advise people to put in place? Because listen, if that's the reality of it, that's just the reality of it, right? So what type things should they put in place to make sure that your new person isn't intimidated or isn't threatened by your ex?
Yeah. So for me, I think the easiest route may be a group chat. A group text. That way correspondence go through the group chat. Everybody can see what everybody's talking about.
When it comes to when you talk about the kids.
Yeah.
No.
What you
You know what I'm talking. I'm talking like the relationship,
Yeah.
not the business. See how men are so like
They are.
this liturgy. Yeah, I'm talking like the emotion. Like for instance, if you just said there's always that. All right. So what type of thing does like for her husband? He needs to understand that that's something that's there. So what does she need to do? I guess to ask you that question, what do you need to do? Make sure he understands we have that, but ain't acting upon that. But that's just a connection that we kind of have. So that's what I'm saying.
Oh, okay.
I can't answer that question because I'm not ready.
Sure.
I'm not ready.
And you said
to,
that the last
and
time.
I've said that, and I know that I'm not ready to. However, I think that the only thing that I'll be able to do is to just continue to affirm, just to affirm whoever my new spouse is, whoever I'm dating.
Would you want to meet her? Would you want to meet the woman that if he gets involved?
I wouldn't find it necessary to meet another female until it was time to start cohabitating.
Go around the kids, yeah.
Yeah,
Sure.
and being around the kids and stuff like that. I know that there are people like within my circle when it comes to like filming and things like that are male that have been around the girls. So I don't know, I feel like that's different. Just like you have, like female friends when it comes to work or church events, things like that have been around the girls that know the girls. So, but when it comes to like dating,
Sure.
Yeah, like if we're doing like family dinners and stuff like that, then yeah, it's time to
Don't
start.
nobody come around my kids.
It's time to start meeting.
So would you want to meet the guy?
At the point where they're gonna be around the kids.
What do you think that conversation? What would that conversation involve aside from usual? My kids, I whoop them, you don't. What type of conversation?
Mainly, to be honest, I think she would trust my discernment before they're around our girls.
Wow. So she wants you to meet him before she runs.
Yeah, and she would know that if I gave her something, it's not out of hate.
That's cool.
Like I think she has that much trust in me. Like that dude is a whatever.
Sure.
Watch him like he don't even around our kids at all. I honestly believe that'd be a done deal.
Now, but here's the bigger question: would you trust her discernment concerning who you're dating?
I would. It depends on how she said it, because I know Tori enough to know. Like I know Tori enough. Like Tori is prideful, so I would know if it's coming from a prideful place or it's a genuine concern based on the network. The network, the hand
I have
motions,
natural neck movements.
What are we talking about here? Okay, so
That moves natural.
so what would? How do you respond to that?
I
Is that the
cannot
truth
be
or-
mad. Yeah, I can't be mad at that response. However, I definitely can say that women do have an intuition
Sure.
that I'm not afraid to act on. And whether, a man decides to see it for what it is or decides to call it petty or, whatever, hey, I said what I had to say.
I really think, and I think, honestly, just wisdom tells me that she may have a more keen insight on it than what you may think. And what he's saying is that I can discern the difference.
right, right.
You know what I
Oh yeah,
mean?
for sure.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
agree. I agree though with the insight.
Sure.
I would know which one it is during the time and the delivery. It'd have to be a face. I would know though.
But see, like, but her lips, but
Yeah,
No, it would never be. It would never be anything physical.
sure, yeah.
Yeah, I would know. Yeah.
Yeah, it would never be a.
I would trust the
thing.
insight, but I would know though which one it is though for sure.
So are you guys better separated as individuals? You can pause on that question because that's a big question. Are you better as individuals than you were when you were married?
Like, in general, or with the.
Just however you want to say. Like would you say?
I say yes.
I'm a better person. I am more comfortable. I'm more at peace. I'm more whole now than when I was married.
I think I was good both. I'd like to be a husband.
Okay.
Yeah, I think I was good both. I'm kind of in my same lane, what I naturally do. I think I'm good at both lanes.
Yeah, but you like you've shared with me before that I don't want a relationship.
Right.
I ain't trying to see nobody. Ain't
Right,
trying to date nobody.
yeah.
I'm done with all that.
Yeah.
So you kind of sound like you better single, like you know what I mean. So,
I enjoy it because I'm able to do more than I was able to do when I was married.
so marriage was kind of constraining for you.
Yeah, I enjoyed it though.
Sure,
but
I get it. It's
yeah,
different.
it definitely was because it's like if somebody's growing somewhere and I'm supporting their dream, their vision, or whatever I have to do, and that it takes away from what I can naturally do, and so now without that attachment, I can just kind of
So
move and do what I do.
Tori, how about you? Are you?
Yes, yes, I am better. Definitely have seen a lot of growth over the last couple of years, but I also will say that I do miss certain aspects of being a wife. I miss, the cooking and the caring for, but I also am grateful to have that time back for myself.
Okay. You think you ever remarry? You think you would?
It's hard for me to even consider dating right now, but I mean, I would not be mad at the idea of getting married again.
Do you think you'd ever want to remarry Randy?
Ooh, I don't know. I guess that would depend on what it would look like redating, because this is a completely different person.
That's a very wise question, a very wise answer.
Mm-hmm.
It's a different person.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. He's different anyway. Just
He is.
He's different anyway.
Yeah.
Guys, we have 3 seconds. Any closing, one statement for any couples that are going through a divorce process? Any last closing statements for 15 seconds? What you got? For the guy specifically.
Right, for the guy specifically, take your time with decision making. Be vulnerable with the community that you feel safe bleeding with.
In the community, I love it. Yes, ma'am.
I would say, ladies, don't be afraid to be transparent. I feel like that was definitely something that I failed to do in the early part of my marriage, which is why, things kind of progressed the way that they did. So be transparent about how you feel. And sometimes men don't know how they feel. So when they say, I don't know, give them a moment to get their thoughts together and to, give you a good answer. But kind of like what Randall said, just take your time and be open to what they have to say.
Hey, guys, that was really good. Thank y'all so much for coming out and being transparent. Are the kids out there?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that means y'all not going to leave and have sex. Okay, but thank you guys so much for keeping it going. See y'all next segment. Love, peace, and soul.
That was good, wasn't it? Now that you know who my man is, go follow Doc on IG at Doc_Goines. I'll see y'all next Tuesday back on the block.